Hello everyone and welcome to this video. I've put this video together on how to use Articulate Storyline. The story behind this video, and it's a very long video, the story behind this video is that I recorded lots of separate videos and I put them in a big playlist. But I've had some people come to me and say, Alan, could you please do it as just one really big video? And I was like, well, yeah, they are in a playlist. They're saying, well, yeah, but it'd be better if you can just put it as one massive video, put chapters in there. It'd be really good. Then we can just press play and just play it all the way through. They said pretty please as well. So I said, okay, I'll do that. So I'll put it together. One really long video. It covers everything. It covers, how to launch Articulate Storyline, the basic navigation of it. It covers publishing in there, hotspots, graphics, videos. It covers everything really. Everything you're ever going to need to know about Articulate Storyline at a beginner to medium, sometimes an advanced level as well. We cover triggers in there and how to disable next buttons. Anyway, it's covered all in this video. Please watch the video. Please subscribe to my channel. Throughout the video, I've tried to edit out the bits where I've said, please subscribe to my channel, because I thought it might get a bit annoying. But if you could subscribe, that'd be great. Anyway, on with the video. And don't forget, in the description, there are the chapters, so you can go to the appropriate part if you wish to do so. Thank you very much. To launch Articulate Storyline, go to your Start menu. I'll just type in Storyline. There you can see it, Articulate Storyline. And then you have options here. You can start a new project, you can import PowerPoints, or you can choose one of your recent courses. I will start a new project. Let's start by looking at this screen. We're currently in the story view. In the middle of the screen we have a slide. Something else to note is that if you're finding that slides are advancing by themselves, so when you preview or publish a course, after 5 seconds or so it moves to the next slide, it's because this bit here has been selected as being automatic. So you want slide advances to be left as by user. There's lots of functions at the top, but it's best to go into the slide to explain these. So to go into the slide, double click on it, and then the slide opens up. Looks a lot like PowerPoint, so if you're familiar with PowerPoint then you'll be familiar with a lot of the functionalities on here. It's a blank slide, but I can use templates and I'll cover those shortly. If I go into Insert, I can add in a text box. I can, again, if I go into Insert, I can add in shapes. Shapes can be formatted, so I can change the color of them however I wanted. Lots of things can be done. I can apply effects such as a shadow. With the text, as you'd expect, I can then change the font if I wanted to. I can change the styling of it, the size of it, and everything like that. So it has all the features that you'd expect. Other things, you've got captions. So I'll add in a caption. So this is like a speech bubble. And again, you can add text in there as well. You've also got things such as transitions. So this is going to the next slide. So again, like in PowerPoint, you can have a different transition going to the slide. I've got animations. So I'll have an object selected. Go to animations and then choose the type of animation that I want. So I want this object to fly in from the right. If you have animated an object, it has a little star next to it, so you can see that it's going to be an animated object. To add in a new slide, click on this chain link icon, go to new slide. You've got the content library, which is the templates. You've also got, if you've saved any templates, you've got basic layout, so you could add in a title and content, title only, blank, any of these ones. So let's add in a title and content. And there you go, you can see that we've got a second slide that's being added in. Here's a title. So we'll call it page 1 intro. Add in a text. Notice though, the first slide is untitled slide and the second slide is page 1 intro. That's the name that we gave it. If you want to give a slide a name, right click on it, rename, call it introduction. Press return, and there we go. We've now given it a name. The reason that this one here came up with a name was because this top part was a title. So again, much like in PowerPoint, if you have any title bits and you put the title in, it will appear there as the title of the slide. Other things to be aware of on the screen, on the left hand side we have the slides. Along the top we have story view, which is where we began, and we have the slide that we're on. You might have multiple slides along the top here once you've opened up quite a few. On the right hand side you have triggers, we'll cover that in detail at some point. Down the bottom we have slide layers, so slide layers are just extra layers on each slide. So rather than going to a different slide every time, you could click on something and open up a layer. Again, we'll cover that in detail. Towards the bottom we have the timeline. The timeline shows all of the different elements on the screen and also when they'll start and when they'll finish. So you can have different things coming in at different times. Along the top, an important button is the preview button. So this will actually show us what the slide looks like once it's launched. We have publish, and we'll go into detail on that. And we also have player. So player is the controls for the user. So whether they've got the navigation buttons, whether they have the title slides down the left hand side of the course, and things like that when they're playing it. Again, we'll go into detail. Let's take a look at the timeline. On this slide we've got different objects. All of the objects are here on the screen. This includes this text box that says animations, but also they're listed down here. So if I click on animations text box, that's the one that's highlighted. If I click on number 2, it's the one that's got number 2 in there. It's got number 2 in there because that's the text I've put in. You see this one here, number 4, this appears in the timeline later. And let's explain this timeline. Along the top you've got seconds. So this shows how long it will last for and when things will appear. So this one here, this object called number 4, will appear at 2.5 seconds if we previewed it. Let's do that now. So the slide started, there's animations on those objects, and then number 4 appeared later on. If I moved it here to about 1/4 second, that's when it would appear. So moving them along changes when they appear. Same with any of these. Now, the location of it on here, as in the ranking, doesn't really matter. However, you see we've got group 1, and this is group 1 here, these objects. If I move this down behind number 2, then it actually goes behind number 2 in its location as well. If I right click on it and say bring to front, it moves it to the top. So that's what this ranking here does. It moves objects to the top or the bottom. Normally though, you don't really need to worry about it unless you do have objects sitting on top of each other. As I say, this is a group. So if I click on this little arrow here, then the grouping is broken down. There's another arrow here because it's an icon with even more elements to it. If I want to ungroup it, I can right click on the object and go to group and ungroup. I can't ungroup it from clicking on here though, so something to note. These icons here, we've got this little eye icon, this means show or hide. So you've got the group, which I've got highlighted. I'll click on the little eye icon and it's disappeared. And if we preview that, you'll see it's also disappeared from the slide as well, so it's not going to appear at all. Normally, I have everything shown. The only reason I remove some of these elements is if I'm editing the slide and I find that things are just getting in the way. So sometimes I'll remove them just so I can edit an object and then I'll bring them all back in. And you can use this show all or remove all at the top. This lock and unlock, well, this object or any object I can move it around to wherever I want it to. If I click on lock, so it's got a little padlock icon, I can no longer click it, I can't do anything with it, I cannot select it. Again, useful if I'm trying to edit the objects around it and I keep grabbing it by mistake. I'll just lock it. Again, you don't generally lock these things, it's only when you're editing. So you get the timeline. Now, if you're going to have a slide that plays automatically and moves on automatically, then this timeline will affect that. So after 10 seconds, this will then move on to the next slide if you had this option chosen. And by going to story view, this is the option, so slide advances automatically. But I very rarely use that function. I have it advanced by user, so the timeline doesn't really matter that much. However, you see all these objects have a little arrow at the end. That's because they're going all the way to the end of the timeline. If a timeline's 6 seconds or 60 seconds, it doesn't matter. It's always going to go to the very end, which means it's going to stay on the screen at all times. If I right click on it and I remove the tick that says show until end, you see the arrow's disappeared. Now, move the timeline along. That means that this object will appear and then disappear. So let's just show you that. In fact, I'll do it on another object. So there we go. We'll say this line is going to appear and disappear. Let's preview that just to show it to you. So the objects are coming in. And there you go. One object disappeared. Another object disappeared as well. So that can be useful if you wanted to make your slide a bit more interactive and just showing kind of animations happening. You know, as someone appears on the screen and a person disappears, that's what it's useful for. But again, generally speaking, you'll have show until end. Timeline, just move it along, left and right. You can also preview it in here. So rather going to preview at the top, you can preview it here by clicking the play icon. You can see it then working along. So that's another function. You can stop it. So again, you can preview it with the play icon. You can pause it. You can stop it. Sometimes it's quicker to do than it is to preview it. Though again, personally, I just like to preview the whole slide, but I'll leave it up to you as to what you do. And if I were to add another object into here, so let's get a shape. I'll just add in a shape there. You can see that this shape has now been added to the timeline as well. And by clicking on it, it clicks on it here and in the timeline and works the other way around. If you ever moved your timeline by mistake, and there you go, the way to get it back, first of all you need to find it, so it'll be somewhere on your screen, and then click on that redock button. So this little button here will undock it, you can move it out of the way, redock it. You might find that useful if you're working on a laptop and you're struggling for space, though I again just have the timeline always docked in position. And that button there removes the timeline entirely. And if I've done that, the timeline has actually been collapsed and it's down the bottom. So if you do click on that little arrow, by mistake normally, it'll be down the bottom there. And that's with any of these things. So if you've got your triggers bit as well, they can all be minimized or collapsed and then reopened again. And this area for the timeline can be moved up and down to give you a bit more space if that's what you need. I'm going to show you the templates. So I'm going to add a new slide from the Content Library 360. So this content library is all of your templates. You've got lots to pick from. The first time you use a template from a particular section, it will take a little bit of time to load. So always give it a chance to load. But I could add in a title slide, for instance. So I'll go for this one here, insert slide, give it a moment, and there's that. You can change the title. Again, I'll just put hello. Change any of the text, move anything around. The image, you can replace the image simply by deleting it and adding a new one, or right clicking on it, replace picture, and then pick where you want to choose it from. The good thing with templates is that someone's done all the hard work for you. What I'm going to do, I'm going to create a different course, and I'm going to go into that course so that we can see a course that's been built using lots of templates. And something else we'll do, if you notice in the story view, which is where we are now, there's just 3 elements to it and there's nothing else. And there's just one scene, as it's known. What again I'll do, I'll create a different e-learning with lots more information and multiple scenes so we can then work out how to use them. Branching and linking slides. We'll start this in the story view. Notice how each of these sections, or scenes as they're known, are side by side. Also, there's no linking. If you get to the end of one scene, storyline doesn't know what to do next. We need to tell storyline what to do. The best way to demonstrate this is by setting up the menu to send us to the appropriate scene. So I've already created a menu from a template, and because it's a template, they've already got some triggers set up. So I've clicked on title 1, and it's set up to jump to next slide, but I don't want that. I want it to go to a particular location. So I want it to go to this area here. Let's go back to story view and see what's happened. There you go, you can see it's changed now. So this one here, there's a big arrow which is going down here. Let's do that again for the other one. So go to main menu, I'll use section 2. So jump to slide, scroll down here, and I want to go to this number 3. Go back to story view, and there you go, it's changed it again. So you can see the location of each of these scenes has moved now. If I click on this first slide here, you can see all the different arrows interacting. And if I click on this main menu, you can see the arrows are going down. So you can see the different links. What I need to do is do it on the end of slides as well. So let's go into this one. So what I can do here, where it says jump to next slide, I can tell it to go back to that main menu. So when someone presses the next button, it will go to the main menu. So it's going to return here. Go back to the story view, same again. Now this one hasn't got anything in place. So double click on it. Now where we've got the next button, so jump to next slide, I will tell it to send me back to the main menu. Now I could tell it to take me to the next scene. So let's do that. I'll click on that just to show you. There you go, I've clicked back on there, and it's now got the arrow going all the way back to that scene. If I wanted that to go to the main menu, instead of going to that particular scene, I'll say go to the main menu. Go back to the story view. I can see it's changed a little bit. You can see the arrows now going back to the main menu. An alternate way of doing this is if I click on the very last slide, and I've got the chain link icon, select that, link to slide, and I can choose from the list. So what scene do I want to pick it from? And then what slide do I want to go to in that scene? Find the appropriate one and press OK. If using Articulate Storyline 360, which is what I'll be using, then you have access to a wide variety of characters, photos, illustrations, icons and videos. In Insert, go to Photos, pick whichever one you want. So I'll search for meeting, I'll select meeting, insert, and there we have my image. You can then crop it however you want, resize it, and do with it as you wish. All these images are free to use within Articulate Storyline. If you have Articulate Storyline 3, which is very similar to Storyline 360, I don't think you have access to this. I think it's a separate subscription that you need. You can also insert your own images. Go to Picture, find the photo that you want to use, select it, click Open, there's the image. The same principles apply for characters, illustrations and videos. You can also insert your own video and audio files as well. Icons operate in the same way as images. Go to Insert, Icons. Search for the icon that you want. Click it, select Insert. There's the icon. I'll put it over this box just so it's more visible. There is a wide variety of icons available and they are very good. Something to note though, I'm going to zoom in on this image. So if you wanted to use this icon as a button, there is a problem. The part in the middle is not clickable. So you could only click on the actual part that's in black. The part in the middle which is clear you can't click on. So if you said to a user, you use this for instance as a button, and you said, users please click on the play button, if a user clicked on the middle part it's not going to work. So it's just something to bear in mind. What you can do, the way to get around it though, if you had that as a group, then you could apply the trigger to the group of objects and it wouldn't be a problem. You could also insert a hotspot. So for instance, if you wanted just on that button there, you could create a hotspot and then the user must click on the hotspot and the hotspot will be invisible. There's a separate section dedicated to hotspots, which you'll learn more about this. Hotspots are invisible buttons. That's probably the best description for them. They work very well with triggers. So I'm going to use some hotspots with this image. What I'll do, I'll create a hotspot, get to insert, hotspot, get to choose what type of shape I want. So this one's a freehand, square, circle. I'm going to create one over this wheel. So what I want is for the user to hover their mouse over this wheel, and then I've been organised, I've created these layers. I've got a layer that says wheel. So I want that to appear when the user hovers their mouse over it. So what we need to do, I've created a hotspot, click on it once, create a trigger. So the trigger is to show the layer, and I want it to show the layer called wheel when the user hovers over hotspot 1. Press OK. I'll preview this. So there you go, move my mouse, nothing's happening, but if I go over the wheel, there you go, the layer appears. I could have that though, so it's not hovering, I could have it so it's clicking. So what we've got here, so we've got show layer wheel when the user hovers over hotspot 1. Actually when the user clicks, or when the user double clicks or right clicks. There's lots of things that you can choose from. So have a user clicks on hotspot 1. Let's create another hotspot though. I'll do one here, I'll do a square. Same principle. So I'm going to click on it. I've been organised, I've created a layer called roof. So I'm going to create a trigger. So I want to show the layer of the roof when the user hovers over hotspot 2. Press OK. And there we go, we've got another hotspot created. So my mouse is already over it, which is why it appeared, so there we go. The wheel, nothing's happening, but remember I changed it to click. So you can see the cursor's changed into a hand. I'll click it, and there you go, it appears. Hover back over that one, and that appears. It doesn't have to be an image that you're doing this over either. You could put a hotspot over anything. So if you wanted hotspot over a piece of text or an icon, then again, you can apply the same principles to it. You're putting the trigger on the hotspot, not on the thing that's behind it. Hotspots are also used in drag and drop activities. They're normally used as the location that an object is dragged and dropped to. Markers are a great way to reveal content only when needed. They can be clicked on or hovered over. I've got a marker already on the screen. To add in a marker, go to Insert, Marker, select the marker that you want, click where you want to place it, add in a title, and then add in a description. Click away, and that's you added it. Let's preview this. If the user hovers over the marker, they get just the title. If they click on it, they get all the other information. I've got it set up the same way for this one. If they click away, it disappears. can also format the marker. Click on the marker, go to Format, decide how you want to look. You can also show all on hover. So I'll preview this. Now notice I've only edited one marker. I'm just hovering over it and all of it appears. This one here, I hover over it and only the title appears. I click on it for the extra information. So I'll let you decide how you want to lay it out. Something else to note is that when we went to the preview, they were both pulsing. So what I can do, I can have none, or I can add a swirl effect. I'll preview it. There you go, you have a swirl effect, looks like it's loading. You have a pulsing, or you could have none. If you want to edit them, simply click on it and then make the changes that you want. Note, markers cannot be used as icons themselves. They can only be used as markers. They always have a function linked to them. So if you hover over them or click on them, something's going to happen. So if you wanted to use this icon here as a play button, well, you can't. You'd have to create your own play button, go into Insert, doing a shape of a circle, and then adding an icon of the play icon. Just wanted to make you aware of it because I've already tried to do it before. Let's look at triggers in detail. Every slide has triggers. The next and back buttons have triggers. The trigger is that by clicking on the next button, you go forward a screen. But triggers can be more complex than that. Let me create a scenario. I have a screenshot of this menu bar from Microsoft Word, and I'm telling the user that they must click on the highlighted red box. By clicking on the highlighted red box, they'll then be able to see what the option is that's below it. So I created this box here. So let's put this in a position where I want them to click. So I'll say that if they click on this red box, then they'll see the fonts options. I've created a layer called Fonts Layer. And in this font layer is a screenshot of all the different fonts in Microsoft Word that are available. It is just a screenshot, as you can see. Go back to my main layer. So what I want is a trigger so that if a user clicks on this, then it's going to show the fonts layer. So the first thing to do is select the actual box that you want to be clickable, and then on triggers go to create a new trigger. And we have the option here. So the option is show layer, but it could be any of these ones, so always pick the right one. So on this one it's a show layer. We want to show the layer which is called fonts layer. It's defaulted to that because there's not any other ones available. If there's multiple layers, you could select them. So when is when the user clicks, but it could be any of these things here, on the object which is rectangle 1. And this is rectangle 1. Press OK, and we've created a trigger. So go to preview this slide, and let's see it working. So the slide's loaded up, and we'd have some text that says please click on the red box to learn more about fonts. Notice if I hover my mouse over it, you can see the mouse cursor changes from an arrow into a hand. That's because it's a clickable object. Click it, you can see this layer has appeared. So that's how easy it is to create a trigger. But you can have triggers doing different things, so let's look at those. I've edited this layer to put a couple of boxes in here. I've got boxes called images and a box is called bullet points. Now I'm thinking what I'll do is have it so it's clickable, so the user can click on this and they'll go to the box that's called image, which is this one here. So let's just rename that one there, images, or this one here which is bullet points. Now you don't need to name these, but it does make life a lot easier when you're telling Articulate Storyline what to do. So I'm going to have it so if the user clicks on that, they'll go to this images box or page, and if they go to this, click on this bullet points, they'll go to the bullet points page. So let's do triggers for that. So I've clicked on the box called images. I'm going to click on create a new trigger, and what I'm going to do, instead of show layer, I want to jump to slide, and now the default is to jump to the next slide, which it happens to be the next slide, but That's just more coincidence than anything. What I'm going to do though, instead of going to the next slide, I'm going to tell it where to go. So I want it to go to this slide called Images. And notice you've got a slide here called this slide. Now if you did this slide, it'll take you back to the start, because remember, we're on a layer. We're on a fonts layer at the moment. So what would happen, it would just reload the slide again. Let's go to Images. When the user clicks on rectangle 1, click OK. Let's preview this. So remember, I set it up so the user has to click on this box. So they click on the box to learn about fonts. The fonts comes up, and then on this layer you've got a trigger to click on Images. Now notice that the hand icon changes, but it stays as a mouse cursor on this one because I've not set this one up yet. If I was to click on that, it says the slide target's not available, but that's because I just previewed it as one's page. But I can assure you it works. In fact, let's do the entire project just to prove it. So I need to go to the screen that I want. So click on that, click on Images, there you go, it takes me to the page. I've actually got graphics, but it's the right page, it's the page that I wanted. So that is again a very simple trigger. Now this is the type of trigger that you'd use in a menu system. So if I was to go back to a menu, so I've got a menu up here, this is exactly what it's doing. So I've clicked on this one here, and it will be jump to slide 2.1 when the user clicks on this item. This one here, jump to the next slide. So some of them have been set up, some of them haven't been. This one here jumps to media interaction. So it's done in that same principle. So that's how you can do triggers to jump to different areas. But let's try this bullet points one. It's the same principle. Click on create a new trigger. So the action is to jump to slide. Now I've got it so when the user clicks on rectangle 2, but it could be when the user double clicks on it, when the user right clicks on it. Now if you do right clicks, it's not going to work if someone's going to be using a mobile phone or a tablet because they can't right click on something. When the user clicks outside, when the mouse hovers over, again hovering doesn't work when you're on a mobile phone. So there's lots of different options on here. Let's go for mouse hovers over, rectangle 2, and I want them to jump to the bullet point slide. So I'll preview this, preview the entire project just to show you it working. So I'll go to the appropriate page, which is this one here. Click on there. So images, if I was to click on that, it would take me to that images or graphics page. There's bullet points though, you ready? I'm just going to hover over it. Okay, it takes me straight there. I did not click. Okay, I just hovered over it. Now, that's just to show you how it works. Now, I wouldn't recommend that you jumped to another slide because a user hovers over something. The reason I wouldn't recommend it is because if I was to accidentally, I'm going to click on images and I accidentally move a mouse over the other one, it just moved me away. So I'd never recommend you do that. But it shows that it works. The hover though would work in this instance. So maybe you have it instead of a user clicking on rectangle 1, you have it so the user mouse hovers over rectangle 1, and let's preview this slide. So in this instance, my mouse hovers over it, and there you go, it all comes up. When my mouse is not hovering over it though, it goes away. So I couldn't then do anything with it. I can't then go and click on images because it disappears. So you've got to choose the trigger which is appropriate for what you're trying to achieve. So with the fonts layout one, and this is actually a key point as well, I've created this trigger. For me to change it, I just click on the appropriate part to change. I don't need to recreate a new trigger. And if I do want to edit it, right click on it, edit. It brings up the options that we had previously, and again this is where you can choose something different. Let's take a look at inserting videos into Storyline. You've got a couple of options. If you're using Storyline 360, you can go to videos here and take a video from the library. So let's put in fire. So what's going to appear are all stock videos, and you can use any of these. I'm going to show you how to insert your own video. It works in the same way, but you start off slightly differently. So go to video, which is here next to audio and next to caption. So go to video, find a video that you want from your computer. So I'm going to click this one here, I've called cars. Press open. Now depending on the size of the video, it might take some time to load. The video's appeared. Now it's quite big, it's taking up most of the screen. If that's what you want, that's absolutely fine. However, I'm going to change the size of it. I'm just going to move the location of it. And I'm going to add another video as well. So I'll go to Insert, Video, from File. Because I have it available, I have another video. There we go, it's loaded. So now I have two videos on my screen. If I preview this, so I preview this slide, because I've got two videos and they're quite big, it's now going to take a lot longer to preview slides. So we have the two videos. Now the two videos are both working at exactly the same time. They both press play and they're both operating at the same time. And there's no controls on here either. So I'm going to stop this. I'm going to close the preview. I'm going to show you how to add controls. So click on a video with a single click. Go to options. And we've got these options here. We have play automatically, which I can change. So I'm going to change it to when clicked, and I'm going to add in show video controls below the video. I'm going to do exactly the same with the other one as well. So below video and when clicked. Now this gives the user a lot more control. So I'm now going to preview this slide. So the slide's loaded up. You can see we've got two videos on here now. To play, you click the button. You can now see the timeline is going along and the timer. You can see the video is playing. I can then pause it. Same with this video here. The video is playing. Also I can fast forward by just clicking on where I want to go on the timeline. And I can pause it. So it now gives the user a lot more control. Something to note is that because I've added in this control player at the bottom, it's now changed the size of the video. So you do have to bear that in mind. You might need to adjust the size, you might need to make them slightly smaller if you had text underneath, and you do need to consider that. But that is how you insert a video and how to add a player onto a video in Storyline. In Storyline you can insert audio into your courses. Go to Insert, and you've got the audio button. If you click on that, it will take you straight into adding a file. If you click on it below there, you can add audio from file. You can record from a microphone. So if I wanted to record, I click on the little record icon here and then it will record it. There you go, start recording in a couple of seconds. Save that. You can see it gets added to the timeline here. Go back to Insert. You can do text to speech. So I'll give you a preview.
Hi, my name is Joanna. I will read any text you type here.
So you can hear that the voice is quite a computer generated voice. But what you would do, you would type in your text in here and then you would click Insert. And it adds an audio file in there as well. Alternatively, you can go to audio from file. And this means you've got to add it in yourself. So find it from wherever it is on your computer, select it, open. You can see the audio files being added in here. So I just move these along on the timeline. If you do have different pieces of audio, then don't have them overlapping each other. That's my advice, because they'll play all at the same time. You've got these speaker icons here. Okay. Now these are just off the slide. It doesn't matter if they're on it. So I'll show you now. I'll move them onto there. It doesn't matter. It will not show up in the preview or when you publish the course. So let's preview this now.
Hello. When have you seen fatigue? Write a few words about a time when you have seen someone with fatigue.
I'll click the little speaker icon here, so this is what the user would use to mute it. Now I've got the seek bar along here, or timeline. Officially it's called a seek bar. So this is a way in which a user could control this. Now I've added that seek bar by going into the player. I wouldn't normally have it on. So it's that one there. So I'll show you what it looks like when it's not on. It would just be like this. There'll be a speaker icon on the left and there'll be no seek bar. What it means is that a user cannot control the audio.
Hello. When have you seen fatigue? Write a few words about a time when you have seen someone with fatigue.
So you could hear the audio as playing, but there's no way of rewinding it or going backwards without that seek bar. If you turn the seek bar on, it'll be on every slide of your e-learning course. So do bear that in mind. And it'll be on for the length of a timeline. So in this case, this timeline is 246 seconds. It'll be on for that length. If I went to another course of which the timeline is 5 seconds, it'll be on for that length. You can edit audio. Select the audio you want to edit, right click on it, edit audio. Using the left mouse button, highlight the area, so click once and then just drag. And if you select crop, it'll pull that section out. Save and close. And you'll see that the timeline is now changed. Let's take a look at animations. First off, select the object you want to animate. So I'll click on this object here. Then go into animations along the top and choose the entrance animation. So we've currently got none selected. Select this and then choose the one you want. So let's go for fly in. You've then got options here as to where you want the fly in to appear from. From the bottom, bottom left, far left, etc. You've also got the options here if it was text, if you want it to be one object or by paragraph. So let's have this one here coming in from the left. You then got to pick your duration. How long do you want the animation to last for? This is not how long it stays on the timeline, but it's how long the animation takes. So if you have this taking 3-4 seconds, it means it'll fly in very slowly. We'll do the same to another object. We shall split this one. Now because I've chosen split, I have different options. I can do horizontal in or out, vertical in, vertical out. Or I can do it this way, and then from bottom. Let's see how that looks. So I'm going to preview this, select the slide, and there we go. We can see this object flew in from the bottom and split inwards. So let's change some of these again. So I'll do a fly in. I'm going to make the fly in last for 2.5 seconds and it'll fly in from the right. So we've got this fly in lasting for just under a second and it's flying in from the left. We'll give this one here a float in. A floating in only gives me up or down. So we'll say it's floating up. And then this one here, we'll leave it as it is. But what we'll do, we'll have number 4 appear after 3 seconds. And it's just going to appear on the screen after 3 seconds. So I'm going to preview this. So you can see number 2 took longer to come in and number 4 appeared much later. So let's replay that. So number 2 comes in slower and then number 4 just appears. You can also apply exit animations. Because if we preview this now and the timeline lasts for 5 seconds, let's see what happens in 5 seconds time. So we've got all of the entrances happening at the moment. Number 4's come in, and number 5 has exited after 5 seconds. So it'll exit based on the length of the timeline. So let's reduce the timeline all the way down just to see that happening, okay? So we're going to have it so number 1 exits after 3.5 seconds. So there we go. We saw it happening. Let's just try that again. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Perfect. Now, I tend to not use exit animations. Depends on what I'm doing really, but generally speaking, if an object's going to come in on the screen, it will stay on the screen. You could also do animations that look a little bit more interesting. So I've got an animation on this screen. You can't see it at the moment, but if I zoom out, you can see there's a space rocket up here. Now why have I chosen a space rocket? Simply because I like the look of it. But let's show you what this one here looks like if I preview this screen. And there we go, we can see a space rocket goes flying past. Now with that space rocket, if I select it, we can see the duration, it's 2 seconds. But let's say that duration is about 5 seconds. You'll see that it's going to fly in. I'll just move it back so it speeds up the process. Just move everything here. So we're going to have it, so it comes in at the very beginning of the slide, but it takes 5 seconds to go all the way through. So I'll go for this slide again. So it should appear straight away. And then the whole process of it going all the way across has been 5 seconds. And the way I did that, I could have had it so it comes onto the screen and then disappears, but what I did, I actually chose to have it off the screen so it flies through the screen. Now you might want to use this in a title page or something like that, just to make it a bit more interesting. It's something for you to use just to give a bit more of a visual appeal to the slide itself. I'm going to show you how to hide the next button. I'll preview this slide and you can see that you've got a next button here. Now there might be a scenario in which you don't want a next button. And the scenario might be that you want the user to click on this button to progress to the next screen. So that's what we'll do. So we'll set up a trigger. So the idea is you click on the red box, create a new trigger, jump to slide, next slide, when the user clicks on rectangle 1. So let's preview that and just see if it's going to work. Now I previewed it just to this one slide, so I'm going to get an error message, but if I click on it, it says the slide target is not available, but I know it's working because it is trying to find the appropriate page. And we'll look at it in more detail later on once we've built this up. But you can see that the next button is still there. Now the reason I want to get rid of the next button is because I don't want users just to be able to quite simply press next, 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 next and go through this. I want them to be able to click on this button so they can go to the next screen. The next screen I've set it up, so the idea, user will click on that, it says review, and they go into the screen called review, and you've got a review box here highlighted. So to disable the next button, what you need to do though, you need to click on this create new trigger, and you want to change state of, and change the state of the next button to hidden. So you've got the options here. You've got normal, which is what it normally is. You've got hidden, which means it's going to be disappeared, and you've got disabled. Now disabled means it's still going to be there, but if they click on it, it just won't work. So I choose hidden. I'll show you disabled very shortly. You've then got when, so when the user clicks on something. I don't want it to be when the user clicks on, I want it to be when the timeline starts on this slide. So as soon as the slide starts, the next button will disappear. Press OK. Let's preview this. And there you go. You can see that the next button is not there. You've just got a back button. And you can see this box is clickable. There we go. Now I'm going to show you that again. I'm just going to change though this. I'm going to change the rules on this. Instead of being hidden, I'm going to have it as disabled. Okay, so the next button is disabled. I'll show you what it looks like. So you can see the next button's still there, but I can't click on it. Yeah, so I'm actually clicking, but there's nothing happening. The reason I don't like this is because users think they can click on it, but they're just a bit confused because it's not working, so they just think it's faulty. So let's change the rule again. So you want that to be hidden. Press OK. And then the next slide looks like this. So let's preview the entire project. So here we go. This is the page I've created. You can see that the next button is not there. It is hidden. There's only a back button. If I click on this red box, I've got some instructions that says select the highlighted box to move forward. Select the box and we've gone to the next screen. And on the next screen, you have the next button again. So you can then progress. So I go back a page, you can see the next button's gone. There we go. Couple of things to note, don't delete the next button. You can't just click on this and delete it. Now, this isn't actually the next button, it's just a trigger for it. So if I'm just going to delete the trigger for hiding it, and then I'm going to delete this player trigger. So this is the one that says jump to the next slide when the user clicks on the next button. I'll delete that just to show you that it doesn't work. So I'm previewing the slide, and what happens is that the button still appears to be clickable, but the trigger has been deleted. So you can't progress. It's not letting me go forward a screen. It's not giving me an error message to say, you know, there's not an object available. It just doesn't work. So you can't just delete the trigger for that. So this trigger here, it's not the next button, it's just a trigger. So this is the thing that just tells it go forward a screen. So deleting that just doesn't work as an option. So always leave these in here, and as I say, I'd highly recommend that you hide the disable button so it's hidden rather than disabling it. And if you want to change it back to how it was, you can either have it as normal, or quite simply you can delete that trigger up the top. Let's take a look at states. So next to timeline we have this button here that says states, or its heading I should say. There's nothing in there. That's because a state is associated with an object. So I clicked on this image here and we have states, and that's the normal image of it. You've got different ones, you've got normal or hidden. I'm going to insert a shape. Let's put a square in there. So click on that one now. And again we've got states, normal or hidden. So if I do hidden, I'll preview this slide. You can see that the square is not there. It is hidden. So state is what's happening with that object at that point in time. Is it hidden? Is it normal? But you've got more options than that. If you select the object, you go to edit states, and then you click on this button here which is new state. You've then got options: hover, down, visited, selected, disabled, and if it's a drag and drop related thing, you've got drag over, drop correct, or drop incorrect. So if I select hover, add, what you can then do, you need to select the hover option here, and then you make changes to it. So if someone's going to hover their mouse over it, what do you want to happen? Well, if someone hovers their mouse over it, I want it to turn blue. So it would normally be in the normal state, but if someone hovers their mouse over it, it goes blue. Once you've done that, go to Done Editing States. We'll now preview this. So you can see it's that kind of a turquoisey light blue colour. Hover over it, goes blue. So that's the state being affected. So you need to know about states, because if you inserted a button, buttons already have states defined in them. So again, I was in the timeline, go into states, and you got all these ones here. So disabled, hover, normal, and so forth. Menus will also have states on them. So if I go into a menu, let's have a look here. There's nothing associated with that. But if you click into the different layers, you can see the different states here. So normally if it's being visited, there we go, here's an example. If it's being visited, it will have changed the color to show that the user that they've visited that one already. When you're editing states though, you just got to remember it's going to be editing it just for this part of it. So you go to edit it, choose the thing you want to edit, format it, and then in this case I'll turn it blue. Done editing states. You can now see it's varied. You can do other things though. So if I go back to the slide I was just on, so I showed it where I was just, let's go for this object here. I showed it where I was just having the hover state of that. You could get a lot more complex than that. So I've double clicked on it. I'm just editing it now. I've got it blue, but let's insert a icon as well. There you go, put that in there. And I could also insert something else entirely. Okay, so what's going to happen, I've got this icon on there and I've added these two boxes in. Let's change this box to a different colour just to make it stand out. So this is now the hover state. So when I hover over this box, it's going to bring in this icon, it's going to bring in this object here, it's going to bring in this object here. Done editing states. Preview this. Hover. There we go. You see the changes there. Now it doesn't look very good. Looks terrible what I've created, but you get the idea. It doesn't just have to be the one object that just changes. You could, essentially you're changing the screen. Yeah? So as a result of me hovering over this object, what do you want to happen? I want the state to change, and the state being the object changing color and this icon coming in and those two boxes as well. So that is how you deal with states. Now it can get, I won't say complex, but you can go through lots of layers of it. If you are going to have, I'll go back to the main menu. If you are going to have it so that in this case, yeah, the button changes colour to blue if visited, what I recommend you do is come up with the idea as to what you want to happen in the first place, and then when you create all these other boxes, then you just copy and paste it and edit the information in there. If you don't do this, so in this situation I've got it so that if I go to one of these other objects, the visitor state is this dark green. If I think, well, now I want it to be that blue that we saw in the first one, I'll have to go to visited, edit states, and then I'll have to fill the color shape in, done editing shapes. I've done it for the wrong one, I've done it for normal, should have visited, so I'd undo all that, but you get the idea. Then I have to do it for the next one, the next one, the next one, the next one. It's easier to come up with the concept first and then replicate it across the other menu options that you want to have. You can add a hyperlink into your Articulate Storyline project. So a hyperlink is a link to a web page. What you can do, I've got some text here, I'm just going to highlight the text that says click here, right click, and then go to hyperlink. Put in the link that you want to use. So it's got an example there anyway. The action is going to be when the user clicks on this text. It's going to take them to the hyperlink. So press OK. As you'd expect, the hyperlink has turned blue, and that's how it works. You can now apply hyperlinks to objects. So I'm going to add in a button, but you could do this as a shape. It doesn't have to be a button, it could be just a square or a circle. So I'll add in a button, I'll put some text in there. Click on the object, which is a button in this case, go to triggers and create a new trigger. And you want the action. So you're going to change the action so that it is open URL / a file. So click on that. and it works in exactly the same way. So you could do www or just, there you go, google.com, press OK, and there you go. If a user clicks on that, it's now going to send to the web page. Something to note is that in the preview mode it doesn't work, but I'll show you what happens. So if I click on click here, the link is not active whilst previewing, and the same here, the link is not active whilst previewing. So you know the button works, and you know that the hyperlink there works, you just don't know if it works where it's going to, if it's going to send you to the right web page. So what you need to do, the only way to find out is to actually publish the course, and when you publish the course, that's when you'll find out if it definitely works or not. But you can see how easy it is to create. And that's hyperlinks in Articulate Storyline. If you want to edit a hyperlink, if it's on a button or associated with an object, click on it, and then over on the right hand side you've got the triggers, and you can see what it's going to. So it's going to open google.com, so I'll click on that and I can type in something different. There you go, that's the new address. If I click on the three dots, you can send it off to a file as well, so it doesn't have to be a web page. Alternatively, you can simply click on the object, delete the trigger by clicking on the trigger. Are you sure you wish to delete this trigger? Yes. And then you could add in a new trigger with the new web page that you want to go to. Where we've got the text and it says click here, I've clicked on this text box, and you can see that there's a trigger on the right hand side. So in the same way, you can click on the actual word as to where it's going to and make a change to it. Alternatively, you could click on the text box, then click on the trigger, delete the trigger, and then notice that the text though stays blue, but the hyperlink underline button is not there. What I would do in this case, because I still want to add something, is highlight the words, right click, hyperlink, and then put in the text as to the location I want to send it to. We're going to look at slide layers now. So I've created a slide here, and I've created some layers to go with it, and I'll show you how I do this. So what I've got here is a series of buttons, or objects as they are. And what we're going to do, I'll show you that if you click on these, then a different slide layer will appear, and these are the slide layers down here. So if you click on button 1 or object 1, then slide layer 1 will appear. So let's preview this. Click on 1, that appears. 2, 3. There you go, you get the idea as to how it works. Let's show you how I created that. So I've got a page here. These are just shapes with numbers in the middle. And then down here I've got nothing. You'll notice I've got no slide layers. So I'm going to create a new layer. It's called Untitled Layer 1. I'll leave it as that for the minute. And I will insert a shape. And there we go. So if we go back to the normal layer, which is the base layer, there's nothing there. Go to layer 1, that shape appears. I'll copy that shape. You don't have to, but I will. What I'll do now is create a trigger. So I'm going to click on that object, create a trigger, and the trigger is going to show layer. Show layer called Untitled 1, which is this one here, when the user clicks on Rectangle 1, which is this one here. Press OK. So let's preview that. There we go. We click on it, it appears. Now nothing happens when we click on number 2 and number 3 because we've not set them up yet. But it works in exactly the same way. So I will create a layer called Untitled 2. I've just pasted that. I copied it earlier. I'll paste that, move it over, go back to grid layout, and then apply a trigger. Show layer, layer 2, when the user clicks on rectangle 2. OK, and let's do it again. Grid layout, click on the object, trigger, show layer, layer 3, when the user clicks on rectangle 3, which is the object I selected. Press OK, preview it, this slide. 1, 2, 3. There you go. That's how you create layers. Now, within this object, you could have anything you wanted. You could type, you could put text in there, but it doesn't have to be just an object. This was just to demonstrate it. You could have it so it's completely different. So I'll go to this slide, for instance. You can see that it's got lots of layers here. So all of these are layers. So if I click on that, you can see that the layer completely changes and the text goes on the left hand side. And the image is changing as well. So let's show you this being previewed. So you've got to click on these icons, and they've got states set up so they move as to when you hover over them, and the left hand text will change along with the image. And all it's doing is showing a different layer every time I click on it. Something else that's important to note, if I go back to this original one, if I go to Untitled Layer 1, you can rename it by right clicking on it, rename it and call it number 1 or anything that you want. If you do that, on the most recent versions of Articulate Storyline, it will also change the layer that it's going to point to. So it will point to the layer that's called number 1, which is this one here, and it was previously called Untitled Layer 1. Other things to notice, click on this little cog icon, and you've got hide other slide layers, hide objects on base layer, or hide slide layer when timeline finishes. So you've got lots of options here. So if I go for this one here, which is hide objects on base layer, I'll show you how this looks. So if I preview this, so it's looking how I expected. Click on number 1, everything else disappears because it's hidden all of the objects on the base layer. Because on the layer that I've created, the only thing I've added is this box. And I can't get back to it. There's nothing I can do other than, as a user, go forward a screen or go back a screen. So when you're creating it, you've got to think about what do you want to do. There might be a situation in which you want this. So you might want it to be that a user clicks on something and then they get more information and then they must progress the screen. So I'll let you work out how you want to design it. But to change that, you go into the layer, click on the cog, close that, and there it goes, working again. Quizzes and tests. In Storyline, you can build a quiz or a test. They're the same thing, just people have different names for them. I like to use templates for quizzes, as someone's already done the hard work. So this is what I'll do. I'll add in a template for a quiz. So I will go to Content Library, go to Quizzing, and I'll choose this option here. Insert slide. You'll be presented with this layout. You can see it looks a little bit different to what we're used to. That's because we're in the form view. To move back to the slide view, simply click on that button. But we'll go to the form view. You'll only see the option for form view on quiz screens. So this is the question at the top. So you enter a question in, change it to whatever you want. And then you've got your choices here. So all you've got to do is put your answers in. So let's give you a choice. So the question is, what's the best cake? There you go, chocolate, vanilla, mint. I don't know if you can buy mint cakes, or orange. There we go. They're the answers. So you can see how easy it was for me to do that. If I want to add in another one, just type it in there. Then I must choose which is the correct answer. So is it vanilla, mint, orange, banana? Okay. So in this one here, we're going to say that banana is the best cake. And if you pick any of the other ones, you're going to be wrong. You've got feedback down the bottom. So correct is that's right, you've selected the correct response. Incorrect, and try again. If you click on more, you can add in, or you can edit this further, you can change the styling of it, you can put a link. There's lots of things you can do on this. Make changes, press OK. You've got points as well. I tend to not use the points, however you can apply points to this. And then once you've done it, go to slide view. I'll look at these different layers. So you've got the correct layer, incorrect, try again, and again you can make changes to these. To make changes to these, you've got the feedback master up here. So if you want to make changes, you've got to go to edit and then make the changes on the master slides. Alternatively, you could just go into the master view from along the top, which is under view, slide master, or in this case feedback master. I'm going to show you how to add in a quiz without using a template. So here we have a slide which is pretty much blank. Go to slides along the top, and then you've got a couple of options. You've got graded question or survey question. A graded question, these are form-based questions where you set a correct answer and can assign points to your computer score. In other words, they're the quiz questions. Survey questions, these are form-based questions that have no correct answer and can be used to collect responses. So using that cake example, it will be what's your favourite cake? That'll be a survey. Whereas a graded question would be something more technical, like what is the capital of England, of which the answer is London. Then you have free-form questions. Free-form questions let you turn ordinary slide objects like pictures, shapes, characters, text boxes and markers into engaging interactions. Now, I don't ever use these, so I'm not going to go into that. What we are going to do though, to do a graded question, click on the graded question button, and then you've got the choices here. So you have all of these different choices. You've got these templates already set up that we've been doing, but you've got these ones here. You've got true and false, multiple choice, multiple responses, fill in the blank, word bank, matching and drag and drop, matching drop down, sequence drag and drop, sequence drop down, numeric and hotspot. So pick whichever one's relevant to you, click on insert slide, the form view comes up, put in your question, true and false. You can change that though, so it doesn't have to be true and false, it could be right and wrong, or it could be anything you wanted, but it's only giving you two options. That's the whole thing of a true and false. Once you've done it, go to slide view, and what it does, it actually creates a whole new slide with the layers for correct and incorrect. Then you would have to apply your backdrops to it or any template that you're using. Something to notice with the quizzes is that even though I created a new page to begin with and then I went and inserted a quiz, it created a whole separate page for the quiz question. So I'm then left with this page that I don't want to use anymore. So just delete the page that you don't want, press yes to it. I'll press no just because I want to keep it. And then on the page that has been created, make sure you apply the styles that you've been using throughout the rest of the course. And the best way to do that is to right click on the slide on the left hand side, apply layout, and pick the layout that you've been using in the rest of the course. Let's look at how to insert an exit button into your course. So the exit button will do as you expect. If you click on it, you'll exit the course. So it is a nice useful button to have rather than telling users to click on the cross at the top of the window or something like that. So I've got a page here, I've already created an exit button. I'll show it to you working, so there is the button. So this slide. Okay, we're previewing the slide. I've got it, so if I hover over it there's a state, so it changes it from a one colour blue to another colour blue. But I'm going to click on the button. There we go. Exit the course. Does exactly what you'd expect. Now, the way it's been created, if I click on this, you'll see that the exit course, when the user clicks the exit button, which is what that is a trigger. So let's go and have a look. I've created another slide, and let's go and create one of these. Now you can insert a shape, an object, or an actual button. So I'll do a button. There you go, created a button. Put some text in there. Let's just change the size of the text and everything. There you go. Made a red button. Hopefully you can see that. There you go, you can definitely see that. So we've got this button. If I preview this, okay, nothing happens. It is a button because I created a button, but I'm clicking on it and nothing's happening. That's because I've not set up the trigger yet. So click on the button, go to triggers, so create a new trigger, and then we've got the options here. So the action is exit course when user clicks on button 1, which is what this is. Press OK. Let's preview that. And here we go. You can see it changes state. Click on it, exit the course. But you don't have to have it as a button. But this could have been created just as a shape. So I'll put a circle, call it exit. Again, I'll change the size of it just so we can read it. Create a trigger. And the action is to exit the course when the user clicks on oval 1. The reason it's already come up as that is because that was the last trigger that we used, so it just remembers that. Again, I'll preview this slide. Also, it goes without saying, you don't need to put the word exit in there. I'm just doing it so it's obvious. There you go. Doesn't have a status associated with it, so when I hover over it, nothing happens, but click on it, exit the course. So it could be a shape, could be a box or a button, could be a image, whatever you want really, or a hotspot. But yeah, that is how you create an exit button. Now, following on from this, what you can actually do, you can have it so that it exits, but also then opens up a web page. So let's say you've got a feedback form that you want to use. That's something you can do. So what we need to do is create a trigger. So the trigger will be to open a URL or file, put in the full address of it, there we go, and we want it to be when the user clicks on something, so we'll have it so when they click on button 1, do that. Now what's important is that this action, this trigger, needs to go above the exit course one for the same button. So it must be like this, it must be that, then that in the sequencing. Let's try this out. So if I click on exit course, it says the link is not active while previewing. Now what it means is that when I'm in the preview mode it doesn't work, but I can assure you when we publish the course it will work. And also this is indicating to me that it is trying to open up a web page. So what will happen is it'll exit the course and then open up a web page, and then you can have a feedback form, or you can be directing someone to where policies are held, or whatever you want to do with this course. Press OK, it closes the course down. But that is how you do it, and I can assure you it definitely works. So this address obviously is Google, but you can put in whatever address that you want. But what is really important is that exit course is located here, and then the hyperlink is located above it. So in Articulate Storyline we have the player. Now the player, I'll select it so you can see, this is the player. It's the look of the e-learning package when it's launched. How is it going to be laid out? So in the middle we have the slide. So this is the actual thing that the user is going to be using. But do you want this menu option down the left hand side here? Do you want a title? Do you want resources? Do you want all of these options along here? So it's up to you. And anything you want to remove, you click on it on the left hand side. So I generally get rid of the menu, and I get rid of the toolbar as well because I don't normally add in resources. Title, I'll remove that. Volume, I'll leave it on if I've got any audio in there or any videos. Accessibility controls, so I'll show you what these are. So this is zoom to fit, accessibility text. Keyboard shortcuts, you can leave that on if you want. Again, I'll remove it. And captions, so that's going to be captions for any videos. And then I press OK. If I go back into there, I'll show you more options. So where we had resources, these are your resources here. So if you've added in any resources, and this might be a document such as a list of definitions, you can add in the options here. Let's give it a title and add in a web page, or add in a particular file and browse for it. And that will be saved into this e-learning package. Other things to note, you've got the player style. So I'm going to turn a few options on just so you can see more info. And let's play with the style. So currently we're in a modern style, but you can go for the classic, which has now got a previous and a next button rather than just arrows. You can see the layout here. So this is what it used to look like in Articulate Storyline 2. I'll go back for the modern. You've got menu controls on and off. So again, you can see it removes everything really. Colors and effects. Dark, which is what we've gone for. Light, which is a white around the outside. Or custom. And then again, you can change any of these if you want. So there's fonts as well for the actual player. The navigation button is icon, icon and text, or just text. So there we go, previous and next. Or with the arrows, or just the icons. If you are going to be translating this into different languages, then I recommend just going for the icons, because previous and next are not going to translate. So if you did translate the entire contents of the course, these elements of the player don't translate. So I'll go back to the style that I wanted, and I'll leave it as this. Remove the bits that I don't want. Something to note though, with this menu, if you click on the three lines here, it collapses the menu, and this is what happens when you actually preview or when you publish the course as well. So you do have that option. Once you've made your changes and you're happy with it, press OK. If you've previewed your course and you've seen that the slides are not playing in sequence, well, there's a way to fix this. Go to Player, go to Menu, and then here you'll see the sequence. And now see that in this section here we've got 2.1, 2.2, 2.5, and then we've got 2.3 and 2.4 all the way down here. So you've got a couple of options. Click on the one that's out of sequence, then move it up or move it down. The alternative option, and this is much quicker, is to select this button here that says Reset from Story. Are you sure you wish to reset the contents of the menu? Yes, I am. And then here we go, 2.1, 2.2, 2.3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. It's now fixed. And if you're wondering why they go out of sequence, well, I think it's when you copy and paste slides. Storyline gets a little bit confused. It doesn't always happen, but sometimes it does. And when it does, you know how to fix it now. I've not had it happen in all of my e-learning courses, but I have had it happen in some of them. So remember this button, reset from story, and it'll put them all back in sequence. Once you've done it, press OK. When you're ready to publish your course, select the publish icon. You've got options along here. So Review 360, this won't publish it, or it'll publish it on a web page, but it's there for people to review it. So you could then send that link to other people. They could sign in using any email address, and they can leave comments. And then you can gather all that feedback. You can export it as an Excel file if you want, and then you can have a look at the feedback and make changes. But if you're going to be exporting this to go on a learning management system, such as Workday or Moodle or Blackboard, then this is what you do. Make sure the course has a title that you want, the player. This is the player, you can edit it. So I would normally click on the player button before going to publish to make my changes. Quality, this is important. First time you use it, it'll be set as standard with a video quality of 5 and an image quality at 80%. You want to move these up to the maximum. Leave the audio where it is. The moment you move them, it changes to custom. So always put them to the maximum. I think the reason they're defaulted to be lower is because on original versions of Storyline, it was many years ago, and uploading big files to the internet was a problem. It's not really a problem anymore. Press OK. Now reporting, if you're using this on a learning management system, you want to report it. SCORM 1.2 is the norm. There are other options here. Everywhere I've worked, it's always been SCORM 1.2, so that's with all the clients I've ever had. So if you're not sure, leave it at SCORM 1.2. Alternatively, speak to your learning management system administrator and they'll be able to tell you for certain, though I'd place bets it's probably this. If not, it would be the X API tin can. Once you're ready, press publish. Give it a moment to do this. Depending on the size of the course, it takes longer. And there we go, it's been successful. Now I always recommend that you zip the file. You need to create a zip file to be able to put this onto a learning management system. So click zip, make sure you're happy with the name for it. Once you are, press save. What we can do though from here, we can view the project. And here is the project, laid out how I chose it to be. In this video, I'm going to show you how to have it so that the next button is hidden, but once a user has clicked on all of these buttons, the next button appears. And the user can click on these buttons in any sequence that they want. So, let's preview this slide. I've already got it set up, so I'm going to show you what it looks like as a finished product. I'll then show you how to create it. So the next button's hidden. I can't go forward. And I will click on these buttons. I'm doing it in random order. There you go, the next button's appeared. It'd be very easy to do it as, once a user's clicked on number 6 for the next button to appear, because you'd assume they'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you can just say, make the next button appear after that. But let's be honest, users don't do that. Users are just as likely to go 6, 5, 3, 4, 2, 1, and you still want the next button to appear. So I'll close the preview. And I'm going to show you how I did that. Now notice on here I've got all these different variables set up, and I've got different triggers as well, and I've got the next button hidden. So let's go to another slide. This slide is called Management Skills. It's exactly the same as the previous slide. The previous slide was Human Factors, so just a different title, but it's the same principle. What I'm going to do though, first off, I'm going to hide the next button. Now I do have a separate video on how to hide the next button, but I'll quickly do it here. So I want to change the state of the next button. Now the next button I realise is off my screen from my recording, but it is the next button. Change the state to hidden when the timeline starts on this slide. Press OK. So there we go, that's been created. The next step now is to create variables. So click on this icon up here. Now I've already got some variables in place. I've called them human 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and these were from the previous screen. So if I just go back a screen, you'll see them. Human 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you'll see that they're associated with lots of things on this page. I'll go back to my management skills one, click on the variables button, and what we're going to do is create new variables. So click on the plus icon, give it a name. Now give it a name that is memorable, and I'm calling it management because this page is dedicated to management skills. Called it management 1 because I want to create variables for each of these layers, and there's going to be 6 layers in total. So management 1, type true or false, and the default value is false. Press OK. Do it again for each of them. So I'll copy that just to make it easier. True or false, false. Create another one. True or false, false. The reason I'm creating 6 of them is because there's 6 layers and 6 buttons that we're going to be going into. And the reason you want to give them a good name that's relevant is because if you're doing a big project, you might have lots of variables in the project, and if you just left them as a default option, you won't be able to remember which page they link up to. Also helps if anyone else is going to have to edit this course once you finish with it. So I've created 6 variables. What I need to do now is go on to each of these layers. So there's 6 layers down the bottom here. I'm in layer 1, and I want to create a trigger. And the trigger is to adjust variables. So remember this, because I have this tendency to click on change state of and I get confused. You are adjusting a variable on this layer. So adjust variable, pick the variable, so it's management 1 to true when the timeline starts on this layer. What this means is that when a user comes into this layer, the variable will change from being false, which is what we told it to be as a default, to true. Now click away from there, click back on that, copy it, so Control C, go to layer 2, and then just change it. Same again for layer 3, I'm just pasting it, so Control V. So I'm going to go to management 3, oops, done it twice. If you do create 2, just delete them. Layer 4, layer 5. You can see it's quite a time consuming process. Layer 6. Okay, so we've got it. So on every single one of these layers, it's going to go to management. Well, it's going to change the variable from being false to true when the layer starts, or the timeline starts on this layer. Go back to your base layer. What you now need to do is for each of these buttons, so you can click on the button itself, or you can just click on the side here. So currently when the user clicks on shape 1, which is this one here, it will show the layer 1. You want to add an extra trigger. So create new trigger, and you want to change the state of the next button, which is down the bottom off my screen, to normal when the user clicks on shape 1, and then this is where you need to use your variables. If management 1 is true, but also if management 2, management 3, management 4, management 5 and management 6 are all true. And remember, they become true once a user has visited that slide, or that layer I should say. Press OK. So you can now see this big list here. So always click away, click back on it, Control C, go to shape 2, Control V, shape 3, Control V. So we're going to paste them for all of the shapes. So what we've got, so let's have a look at shape 6. So there's this button here. It's going to change the state of next button to normal when the user clicks on shape 6 if management 1 is true, management 2 is true, all the way down to number 6. What this means is that once a user clicks on any of these, it will start the timeline and it will change the variable to true. But it means that because we've got all these in a list, they can do them in any sequence that they want. Now, let's actually test this out and see if it works. So first off, we're going to preview the slide. Next button's hidden. Number 6 has come up. 5, 1, 4. I'm doing them in random order. 2, 3, and there you go. The user can progress to the next slide. So that's how you do that. Something else you can do. So I've got this piece of text here that says once you've looked at each element you can progress to the next screen. Yeah, let's change that to go forward a slide. Now I don't want that go forward a slide to appear until they've clicked on all of these buttons. So what I want it to do, I want the user to click on all of these buttons in any sequence they want. Then the next button will appear and this piece of text that says go forward a slide will appear as well. So to do that, I go back to the first shape, click on all these variables. I'm going to copy it, so I'll do Control C, I'll paste, Control V. What we need to do on this actual text here is click on the text, go to states, hidden. We want the text to be hidden when the page starts. And then we're going to change the state of it. So change the state of, and you need to find that button, sorry, that text. And there you go, it's text box 3. Change the state of text box 3, go forward a slide, to normal when the user clicks on shape 1 if, and then all the variables. There we go, copy that. Paste it for each of the buttons. So shape 3, shape 4, shape 5, shape 6. And let's preview this. So you can see that it's hidden. Do these in again, I'll do them in a random order. You can see the next button's appeared and also go forward a slide has appeared as well. So if you want to do that, that's how you do it. One thing I'm going to show you though, this is a bit of a disclaimer, and this is very important. On this slide, so it's the human factor slide again, I've created another version of this to show you. I'm going to show you, it's just to let you know it's set up correctly, but I'm going to show you it not working. So something to be aware of. So I'm going to just do them. Right. So I clicked on all the buttons. Yep, you can see that. I'm clicking all the buttons and that next button's not appearing. It's now appeared. The reason it wasn't appearing is because this particular layer, which is number 6, has got a transition attached to it, which means it takes a while for it to load. So I've gone into item 6, go to transitions, I've got fade lasting for 1.5 seconds. So I'm going to show you that again just to prove to you that it doesn't work properly. What it is, it's because the transition is not fully actioned, so you need to wait the 1.5 seconds for it to be completely completed. Because of that, the variable doesn't work. So if I just do, I did click on 6, but you notice it didn't quite appear. There we go. Because it had that transition waiting of 1.5 seconds. So on this layer, what I'll do just to show you, I'm going to remove it. I'll just put no transition, and I'm going to do exactly the same thing again. So I'm going to preview this slide. I'm going to go around just as I did before. So let's start with number 5. There you go. It works perfectly. So what it was is because there was a transition attached to this, and because the user was clicking on the buttons before the transition had actioned, the variable wasn't working. So if you do have transitions, you need to be aware of that, and personally I'd recommend you remove them because it just makes it work a lot smoother. The user's probably not going to notice anyway. In this video I'm going to show you how to find the course length in Articulate Storyline. So what you need to do is go to Publish and then go to LMS/LRS. This is the option you'll be using anyway if you're going to be exporting to an LMS. Where you've got the title, so in this case my title is Human Factors, click on the 3 dots. And there you have duration, and in this case it's about 52 seconds. It is a quite short course, there's not much text on there. Something to bear in mind though, when it calculates this, I'll be honest, it's not very good. It will calculate how many slides there are, but it will not take into account what's on any of these layers. So you might have one slide which doesn't have much information, but you might have 10 layers in there with loads of info on there. If that's the case, it won't calculate that for you. So I'm going to be honest with you, using the course length in Articulate Storyline is quite useless unless you're not going to be using any layers. So anyway, you know how to do it now. In this video, I'm going to show you how to turn a photo or a picture into a shape in Articulate Storyline. So if you've got a big rectangular picture, I'm going to show you how to turn that into a circle so it looks really pretty. Don't forget, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Anyway, on with the information. In this video, I'm going to show you how to turn an image into a shape, or apply a shape to an image. Maybe that's a better description for it. So the example is this type of example here. You can see the bit in the middle. I've already created this for a client. I've got a client who said, you know, we like that, but can you change this into a different picture? All right, so I've got to somehow get an image in the shape of a circle. Now, as you'll be aware, most images that you get are not in circle shapes. They're in the shape of a square or a rectangle. So how do I do this? Let me show you. So I'm going to get a photo. Photo can come from anywhere. I'm using Articulate Storyline 360, so I will take a photo from the image library that is provided. I found a very nice picture here. There you go, my image is loaded. Just going to zoom out a little bit on it so you can see my image. What you've got to do, you've got to make sure the image, so if you're going to do this as a circle, you've got to make sure that the image is the same size from left to right as it's from top to bottom. So what you need to do is crop it. So click on crop at the top right, you see the little bars that come up, and then you need to crop it. You do. So you'll make sure it's even. So the one on the left, so you got 432, that's the width of it at the moment, because that's, I'm changing the other bit. So let's take it down to 450, and let's go up from the bottom. There you go, 430, right. Just to make you aware, it doesn't have to be exactly right. It can be out by a pixel or two, that's fine. So there's my image. So I've got a square, but I want that to be a circle. So how do we do that? Select the image that you've just reformatted and go to Picture Shape, and then choose the shape that you want. So in this situation, I want it to be a circle. Click Circle, and there we go. That's it, done. I'm going to show you what would happen if you didn't reformat it though. So let's just let's go for a blank screen. I'm going to insert a picture. So I'll pick another photo. Let's go with a picture of that person there looking out the window. I've been on many a train journey like that. So this here is a rectangle. I'm going to do the same process, but I'm not going to crop it. I want to show you what it looks like if I don't crop it. Click on the image, you should be in the format part of the toolbar. Go to picture shape, go to circle, and you can see it turns into a sphere. The reason being is because it's not being made even with the cropping. And then if I was to reduce that and try and make it look like a circle, then the picture starts to get squashed. It doesn't look too bad, but it is squashed. And in some situations it will look absolutely terrible. So always remember the way to do it, if I was just to go back a couple of steps, is to crop it. So I'm going to do it from left to right. So you can see it says it's 480, so let's move it down to 480. 477, close enough. Yeah, I'm feeling confident. No, I'll leave it at that. Click on the image, picture shape, circle. If I wanted to though, I could undo that. Click on it, picture shape, triangle. There you go. So you can see how you can do this very easily. It doesn't have to be a circle, that's what I generally use, but it can be any of these shapes here. So now you know how to turn an image or a photo or a picture into a shape. In Articulate Storyline 360 or Articulate Storyline 3, would you like to know how to make those drag and drop quizzes? Well, if you do, watch the video. I'll show you how to do it. In this video, I'm going to show you in Articulate Storyline how to create a drag and drop quiz question. So let's show you how to do it. I've got one here that's using a template. I'm just going to show it to you. I will show you how to though create one from the very beginning. So this is the type of thing we're going to be creating, but let's go through the process. And don't forget, like the video, subscribe to the channel. There we go, Articulate Storyline just about ready. So this is the activity, drag and drop. You drag these images down the bottom into location. Oh, there's a spare one. Press the tick button. Oh, there you go, you're correct. That was lucky, I had no idea what the answer was. So first off, that is drag and drop, if you can, just in case you're wondering. So let's go for a new slide entirely. So new slide, basic layout, create a blank slide. If you go to slides, you want to go for a free form question. And then choose, now we've got templates, but I'm going to show you how to do this without a template, because you might be using Articulate Storyline 3, which doesn't have the templates. Click on drag and drop, click on insert slide. There you go, it's created a new slide for us down here. Labeled it drag and drop. You can rename that very easily, right click on it, rename. I'll leave it as it is. What you'll notice on this slide though, other than the fact it's completely blank, is on the on the right hand side you have a slide view, which is this, and you have a form view. This is the form view. Now if you've created any quiz questions, you'll probably be quite familiar with this. It will normally list what the question is and what the answer is, or which one's right. Let's go to slide view though. Let's go and create ourselves a drag and drop activity. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create something that just looks a little bit nice. So format it, let's do a little shape fill, make it red. And we can say, these are, there you go, 3 boxes there. Let's label them A, B, and C. Probably easier if I make them a little bit bigger in the text. Right, I've got 3 boxes. What I want to do now is have something to drag to those boxes. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you with images. So I'm going to create or get a photo. Now I'm going to be using the library, but you can use any image that you want. So get a picture of football. picture of a car. Let's get one more picture. Let's get a carrot. I have no idea why I've chosen a carrot. Then again, I've got no idea why I've chosen a football or car. So these are the objects. In fact, I've got a better idea. Instead of these A, B and C, let's label them. So let's pretend that this is a quiz for people who don't speak English. And we can say, what you must do is match let's say that this is a quiz for people who are learning English, and what they must do is match the image down here with the text that's on these boxes. Okay, so we've got everything that we need. Now what we might want to do is rename these. So picture 1, which is the football, it is a lot easier if you do this. Rename that one, which is car. Rename this one. And these rectangles as well, rename them. So let's call it carrot box, because that's the box that we want to put them in. Okay, we've got everything labelled up. Now go to form view. In form view you can now see that we've got some boxes to deal with. So the drag item, so the item that we actually want to move, you can pick what you want the drag item to be, and we want to drag the photos. So we want to drag, in this case, the football, and notice that you can see it highlighted on the right side of the screen. And I want to drop it in the box that's called football, again highlighted on the right side of the screen. I want to go for this object, which is the car, and I want to put it into the car box, and I want to have the photo, which is carrot, and I want to put it into the carrot box. If I go back to slide view, this is what it looks like. It hasn't changed in here, but we know in the form view it's changed. And now let's preview this slide and let's see if it works. First thing you notice, you can drag these objects. You can't drag the boxes though, because they've not been set for dragging, but you can drag these objects. So let's try it out. So I want to drag the carrot to the carrot box. I want to drag the football to the football box, and the car to the car box. Click the tick. Correct. Well done, you've got it right. And let's try that again and get it wrong. So football to the carrot box, carrot to the football box, and car to the car box. Press the tick. Incorrect. You've got it wrong. But now you know how to do the drag and drop. And it doesn't have to be images. So if I was to very quickly do this again, I've just made a duplicate of it. So let's delete those. It's asking me if I'm sure I want to delete them. I do. It's asking me because I'm using them in this quiz. And let's add in some text. So let's go for a text box. Use it again. There we go. Same principle. Going to go back to the form view though, because I need to assign these. So the drag item, I've not labelled them very well, but I have these items. So text box 1 car, That's the wrong one, isn't it? Football goes to the football box. Car goes to the car box. And carrot goes to the carrot box. Go back to the slide view. Preview this slide. And I am aware that it doesn't look as good as the one with the photos. So car, car box, football, football box, carrot, carrot box. Well done. And you saw that these objects are being dragged. So it doesn't have to be an image, it can be just a text box, it can be an icon, it can be anything you want really. So, you know, I'll let you be creative with it. But yes, I could certainly label these, or there you go. I could have these. I could have a circle. Yeah, the circle could be the answer instead. I'll show you with just that one circle. So car. Go back to the form view. The car box, and the answer is car. You can see it's highlighted. So you get the idea. You can have whatever you wanted for drag and drop activities, and you can make it look as good as you want as well. So this is obviously very, very, very simple, but it gives you something to play with, and now you know how to create a drag and drop activity in Articulate Storyline, and this works in Articulate Storyline 360 and Articulate Storyline 3. We're going to cover two topics in this video. So in Articulate Storyline, if you open a project and you've got missing fonts, what to do with that, how to replace those fonts. I'll show you that in detail. And then the second one is just how to replace fonts in general. So if you've got a font, so let's say using Arial and you want to change it to be Calibri, well, how do you do it quickly so it changes it in your entire project rather than just slide by slide? So before we start, please remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel. Anyway, let's get into the instructions on how to first off replace missing fonts from your project. I've opened up a Articulate Storyline file and I can see that it's got missing fonts. So it says that those particular fonts which are used in this course are missing. So that means that they're not on my computer. Now, it doesn't happen very often this, but it does sometimes when a client sends me over a Articulate Storyline file which doesn't use the standard fonts. They've got their own fonts and I don't, so I need to get the font from them. But let me show you about this part here. First off, the solution to this of actually having the fonts on those to install them on your computer, and I'll create a separate video of how to do that. But what to do with these? Well, first off, press OK. Then go into let's check out the course to see what the problem is. Now I'll click on one of these and see what we've got. So this one here is Oswald Light. That's absolutely fine. I know I've got that one. And I'll show you how to find out which ones are missing. But if I click on this font here, so it says it's the Universe LT Pro 67 Bold something, Condense. There we go. So it says, I remember it's saying that this one here is missing. A couple of things to note though. So I'm going to zoom in on this. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to paste it. So I'm actually just copying and pasting that same piece of text. Yeah. Now that font looks very familiar, so I click on it and it's telling me that it is this, like say, Universe font. So I've made a copy of it. You can see it's Universe. What I'm going to do though, I'm going to change it. So let's pick a different font entirely. Let's go for that font there. Yeah, you can see it's a very different font. Absolutely fine. Let's click on this one. Let's change it though to Arial. Now, is it just me, or does that look absolutely identical? So this one here is Universe LT Pro and this one here is Arial. What Articulate Storyline does, if it can't find the font on your system, it will just replace it normally with Arial or maybe Calibri. So just bear that in mind. Now the reason this is a problem is because I don't know what the font that they want to use looks like, and the font could be literally double the size of this. So though this fits perfectly in this box, if I was to install their font, it might cause it to go outside of the box and be a lot bigger. Okay, and I know that because I've fallen for this mistake before. Deleted the wrong thing there. I've fallen for this mistake before, sent it off to the client, and the client has said, yeah, it's not all lined up perfectly. And the reason being is because I didn't have the fonts. But let me show you how to do find and replace on fonts and see the ones that are missing. So the way to do it from the Home tab is to click on the little arrow next to Find and Replace and click on Replace Fonts. this is what you want to choose. So it says replace, and what it does, if I click on this, it lists all the fonts that are being used. Now, if it's a font that you don't have on your computer, it puts it in red, so it's very obvious which ones it is. So it's Northwell, Univers LT Pro 67 Bold Condense, which is the one that we've been talking about, and this one here as well. So what you need to do is select the font that is in use. So let's go for that one there. So Univers which we know is pretending to be this one. I can choose what to replace it with. Now I'm going to show you, I'm going to pick a completely different font just to show you it working. I'll move this out of the way. So notice that one there, which is meant to be Univers. In reality, we know it's Arial. I've said that font there, replace it with Dual Sans Ultra Bold. Press replace, and we can see it's worked. It has replaced it. Would I choose that font to use? No. But that is how you do it, you understand it. And something else to know, it changes on every single slide. So if I'm using that particular font on any slide anywhere else in this e-learning, if I close that, let's have a look and see if I am. There you go, you can see it there. It's been replaced as well. So we'll go through the entire e-learning and it will look for it and it will replace it. But let's do that again with the other fonts. So I'll go to Home, Find and Replace, Replace Fonts. Let's look for the ones that are missing. So we've got Northwell. Let's replace Northwell with Arial. Press Replace. And let's go for the Univers LT Standard 45 Light. Let's pick something really different just so it stands out. Oh, that looks terrible. Let's use that one. Press Replace. So you can see that I've changed it, and this font down here has now changed into that particular text that I chose. You don't have to be just replacing the fonts that are missing. You can replace any font in there. So you might have changed your mind as to what font looks good throughout the training. So again, find and replace, replace fonts. Pick the one that you want to replace. So this one here, which, if I just move this out of the way, is this particular font. And I'm going to replace it with something that looks a bit nicer. Arial. Press replace. And there we go. And throughout the entire training, it will have changed it. So now you know how to replace fonts that are missing, and you also know how to replace fonts where you just want to change the font that's in use. Maybe your client has said to you that as a corporation, instead of using Arial, we're now using Calibri. So I'll replace Arial with Calibri. Press replace. And there we go. It is very easy to do, and it's a lot easier than going through 40 different slides and manually doing it. I can assure you of that. In Articulate Storyline, and this can be Articulate Storyline 3 or 360, do you want to know a way of creating a play and pause button for a video that's bespoke? So it's one that's not just in the little kind of browser thing or along the timeline. Well, if you do, then watch this video. I'm going to show you how to create a bespoke play and pause button. And I must say, I think it looks really good. Whilst I've got your attention now, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like the video. It makes all the difference. Thank you very much. Now, on with the video of creating play and pause buttons in Articulate Storyline. Let's show you how to create bespoke play and pause buttons on a video. So I've already created it. I've got a slide where it's all going to work, and I'm going to show you that slide, and then I'll show you how I created that slide. So this here is a video. You can see there's a play button on here as well, and if we go to timeline, there's also there's a couple of buttons. There's a pause button, there's a play button. We'll talk about it in detail very shortly. Let's preview the slide and I'll show you what happens. So slide starts, nothing's happening at all. This is a video. If I press the play button, you can see that the video has started. You can also see that the pause button came along. So play it, pause it, play it, pause it. So you can see the play and pause button are changing. You can see that the video is playing depending on what's going on. So let's show you how I did that. So I'm going to go to this one here. This is a blank slide. Colored in the background just to make it distinctive. Let's insert a video. So I'm going to insert a different video just to add a bit of variety in my life. So I'll go to video, video from file. I'll pick this video of a jellyfish. So that is going to be a video. make it a bit smaller. There you go, just have it all so it fits on the screen. And I'm showing you that, so I've gone to insert and video from far, but I could have inserted a video. If you're using Storyline 360, I could insert a video from here. Okay, so any video that I wanted. For instance, one of those. But I'll use this one here. Next thing I want to insert is a play button and a pause button. So let's go and insert a play button. Now, in this situation, I will actually take one from the library. But you could, and if you have a play button just sat on your computer, you could insert a play button from your computer. So insert that one there, make it smaller, put that over there. I'm going to insert now a pause button. So again, I'll do it as an illustration. There's a pause button, insert that, same thing. There you go. Make them same size, and here we have it. Now I'm going to keep them separate just because life's easier if I keep them separate, and then once I've shown you it working, I'll show you how you can overlap them. First thing to do, we've got the jellyfish. The first thing to do with the jellyfish is to create a trigger, because automatically it will play as we start, and I don't want that. I'm going to have it so we create a new trigger, and the trigger is to, in this case, pause the media on video 1, which is that video, when the timeline starts on, and I'll say timeline starts on this slide. Press OK. So that means as soon as we start this, I'm going to preview the slide to show it to you. We start this and the timeline, well, you can see the video is not playing. There's nothing happening with the video, which is exactly what we wanted. Next thing to do, this pause button, we want the pause button to actually be hidden, because we only want the pause button to become visible when the play button is being pressed, and then you want the pause button to be available so someone can then pause it. So the pause button is now hidden. You do that by clicking on it, go into states, and then change it to hidden. Let's go back to the timeline. Something else, just to make our life easier, I'm going to rename these. So picture 2, pause, picture 1, I'm going to rename it play. Click on the play button and go to triggers, and what we want to now do is create a trigger that plays the media, and the media is video 1 because that's the only media available, when the user clicks on the play button. Press OK. I'll create another bit of media, or sorry, I'm going to create another trigger. On the pause button, I've clicked on it, trigger, and I want to pause the media on video 1 when the user clicks on pause. OK. So let's preview that. Now we can see it's going to work, that it's going to play, but the pause button's hidden. So press play, it's perfect, but I can't do anything with the pause button at the moment. So what I need to do is add another trigger. So with the play button, so when the user clicks on the play button, video 1 will play. Okay, but I want to create another trigger. Create a trigger, and the trigger is change the state of the play button to hidden when the user clicks on play, and then create another trigger, change the state of the pause button to normal when the user clicks on play. So the user is going to click that, that's going to disappear, and then the pause button is going to become normal and visible. And with the pause button, I want to do the same thing. So we know that the pause button is going to pause the video. I want to create a trigger as well though. So I want to change the state of the play button to normal when the user clicks pause, because they've paused it, so you want to give the user the opportunity to press play to start it again. and we want to change the state of the pause button itself back to being hidden when the user clicks on the pause button. And as is often the case, it's often easier to show you what's happening. So I'm going to preview this slide. I'm just going to mute the volume, press play, the video started, and the pause button's available. The play button disappeared. Pause it, the video stopped, the play button's available. Play, pause, play, pause, play, pause. I'm enjoying this far too much. As you can see though, it is working. I'll close this preview. Now the very last step is to have them in the same place. So you can see that they're overlapping each other. To make it even better, there you go, the play button's on top. Preview this slide. User comes onto this slide, press play, press pause, press play, pause, and there you have it. You've now got a video that will play and pause with your own defined icons as and when you want. So it's the same principle on both of these, whether it's this one here with the subscribe video, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, or whether it's this one here with the jellyfish video, it works in exactly the same principle. So I'll show the entire project. There you go. Playing this one here. It's telling you to subscribe. That's a big hint, subscribe to the channel. Go to the next page. This one here. You can see that the jellyfish is there floating away. And I can pause it. Hope you enjoyed the video. As I say, don't forget to subscribe, like the channel, like the video. Thank you very much, and enjoy playing and pausing your videos with your bespoke buttons. Do you have a problem where in Storyline, particularly if you've imported a PowerPoint into Storyline, it automatically moves the user from one screen to the next? Is this something that happens to you? Well, if yes, I'm going to show you how to solve this problem. If you click on one of the slides, so any of the slides, so just do a single click, you'll see down the bottom here we've got slide advances automatically. We don't want it to advance automatically, we want to advance by user. And that means that the user is going to click on it for it to advance. If you left it as automatically, it will jump straight to the next slide after about 4 or 5 seconds. So you need to change this on all of these, but little tip for you, if you press, or if you click on one, so you got one of them selected, then press Ctrl A on your keyboard, you can go to down the bottom here, slide advances by user, and it will have changed it for every single one of them. So that solved your problem. So from now on, when you preview the course, or when you do the course and actually run it, the user will be the person who needs to move it forward, and it won't automatically advance. In this video, I'm going to show you how to create transparent boxes, much like the ones here in Articulate Storyline 3 and 360. Doesn't matter which version you use, it works just the same. Right, let's delete those. I'll show you how to do it from the beginning. I've got an image here just to highlight. I just think it shows the transparent box working better. So the way to do it, go to Insert, Shape, pick your shape that you want. I'm going to use a rectangle, but you could use anything you wanted really. Pick a box. All right, there we have a box. Okay, it is blue, it is not transparent. Let's show you how to do it. Click on the box, single click, Format. Then you've got these things here, so you get shape fill, shape outline, shape effect, and you've got a little arrow button here which gives you format shape. Click on that little arrow, okay, click on that, and I'll move this in here, a new window opens. And make sure you're in fill, make sure you're in solid fill, and transparency, and then just adjust it. You can see it's changing here. Now it could be any color, it doesn't have to be the blue, so I'll put it as orange. There we go. Set your transparency to the level that you want. Make it green. There we go. Have it to that level. Close it. There is my transparent box. And in that box you can type, do whatever you want really with the box. But that is how easy it is to make a transparent box in Articulate Storyline. So once again, insert, pick a box or pick a shape. Let's do it as a triangle. Insert triangle, have a triangle selected. Format, the little arrow there below shape fill, shape outline, shape effect. The little arrow brings up a new menu. And then make sure and fill, solid color, transparency. Move this over so you can see it, transparency, and then you can see the transparency changing there on the shape. Welcome everybody, I'm going to show you how to SCORM a course in Articulate Storyline. So it's going to be quite a short video. I'm not going to go into details as to what SCORM is or SCORM isn't. I'm just going to show you how to actually do the functionality in Articulate Storyline. I'm using Articulate Storyline 360. I believe this is the same in Articulate Storyline 3. It was definitely the same in Articulate Storyline 2 that I used to use many years ago. So you've built your course. I've built a course on mindfulness. There you go, lots of slides on it. I'm ready to publish this and make it SCORM. So the way to do it is to go to publish. I have it, so it's going for my LMS/LRS, and you see this option here. You've got the ability to choose SCORM 1.2, SCORM 2004, AICC, XAPI, CMI5. What you want to pick is SCORM 1.2. There are circumstances in which you might want to pick something else. I've never used anything else though, so I've been doing this for a very long time, and I've used this on a lot of LMS systems, and I've always chosen SCORM 1.2 because that's what the LMS, the Learning Management System, requires. So if you're using Moodle or Blackboard, or if you're using Workday for instance, SCORM 1.2 is going to be the answer 99.99999% of the time. Like I say, it's what I've always used. If anyone ever asks me, I always tell them SCORM 1.2. You can always talk to your administrator for the LMS to find out what you really need. But anyway, back to this. I want SCORM 1.2. You want to make sure you've got the tick box there for report to LMS. Then you press publish. So really, all I've done is go to publish, made sure I've got SCORM 1.2 selected and that tick box chosen, and then I press publish. I just wait for this to be created. Depending on the size of the course and what's in the course, it takes longer. There you go, it's done. The next thing to do though is to zip it. So click on the button that says zip. Pick where you want to save it. I've pressed save. You can now see I've got a zipped folder there called mindfulness. Just to let you know, this file here is the storyline file. So this is the file for actually creating the course. Uploading into LMS or Workday, whatever you're using, don't upload that one. Do not use that. It's always the zip file. So you then just send this to your administrator or do it yourself and upload this to your learning management system, and you've got your SCORM course up and ready for people to use. With this box here, just close it, save your course, shut it down, and that's you finished. You now know how to SCORM a course in Articulate Storyline. In Articulate Storyline, I wanted to create a checklist. So what happens is that a user will do this training course, they'll go through this section, they'll look at the induction process, the journey, etc, etc, etc. Then they get to the end of the section and they'll have a checklist. And the idea of the checklist is that they can tick each of these boxes and say that they've done it. Yeah, let me show you this slide. So on the screen, and they can say, yes, I understand how to do each of these sections. You can tick them appropriately. That's what I wanted. I thought it'd be quite simple. And then you say, you've done it. Okay, but the problem I was encountering was that when I set this up, it originally had that, you've got the wrong answer, it's a form view, you must tick one of those as being correct, and so forth. And it's like, well, I didn't want them to be correct. I'm happy for the user to say that they didn't understand something. That's not a problem, but it wasn't going to let me do that. So let me show you from the very beginning how I did this. So I'll go to a new section here, and I'll right click, I'll go to new slide, content library, and I'll go to quizzing down the bottom here, and in quizzing I want this pick many. So this is the one that I've used. you'll recognize this straight away. So here we go. This is the pick many. Okay, so it looks the same, but it's obviously got more text on it because it's from the original template. But notice down the bottom we've got try again, sorry, and congrats or congratulations. And also in the form view, that's the correct answer. Well, like I say, I don't want that to be a correct answer. So what you need to do in form view, untick that. That's the first thing to do. Also, you can, if you're being really vigilant, you can change the points down the bottom here to 0. If we go back to slide view, I'm going to delete try again because we don't want them to try again because it's not an actual quiz or exam that I'm doing. I'm going to delete the one that says sorry or the one that says they got it wrong as well, and we're just going to leave congrats. Now with congrats again, we can edit that as well because it's not about the answer being correct. It's just thanks for a response. So it's you could say, rather than congrats, you could say thank you. Whatever you wanted, obviously edit this bit as well. Now, if I was to do this now, it wouldn't work because it's still wanting me to pick an answer which is correct. What we need to do is focus on this submit button. Okay, so the submit button is a little tick button or the button that says submit when you're answering the question. So instead of being submit, we want it, so rather than that, we want it to show layer, and the layer being this layer here, which I've changed to thank you, but it was congrats, when the user clicks submit. And now let's test it out and see if it actually works. So I'm going to preview this slide. Now the user can toggle these as they want, and then they're going to click on that button. It shows a layer that says thank you. You click continue, and if I had it all set up, it would take me to the next slide. So that is how you can create a checklist in here, which is essentially a quiz question, but doesn't actually record results and doesn't require a correct answer. Okay, so this is really a checklist for the person's learning to say, yes, I understand these bits. When you create a drag and drop activity in Articulate Storyline, do you find that they all bunch up on top of each other? Let me show you what I mean. So I'm doing activity here, I'm going to drag them over and you see that they're all sitting on top of each other. So if I want to change it, then I want to get to that one, I need to kind of move that one there out of the way and then get to that one, and then it's just a bit messy. Well, there are ways, or there is a way, of stopping that from happening so they actually tile up nicely. So the way to do it is in your drag and drop activity, go to design, or you can go to form view. I'll go to form view to show you. It's the same thing anyway. And you've got this bit that says drag and drop options. Click on drag and drop options, and on here where you've got stack random or stack offset or any of these, choose tile, then press OK. I'll go back to slide view. In slide view it's in design, and again drag and drop options, and it's tile. And let me preview this for you. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like the video, keep watching them, it helps me. I'll keep creating content. Thank you very much. Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. Anyway, let's show you it working now. So answer A, B, C, look at that. Perfect, that is exactly what you wanted. And then because of that, it's a lot easier to move these around it is. So once again, just to reiterate it, it is on the slide for drag and drop, go to design and go to drag and drop options, or go to form view and go to drag and drop options, and then tick that one so it's snap drop items to drop target, and go to tile. In this video I'm going to show you how to change the menu language into a different language other than English in Articulate Storyline. So I'm using Articulate Storyline 360, and well, let's show you how to do it. First off, I'll preview this slide just to show you what this slide looks like. There we go. Got all the languages in English, says menu, resources, previews next, and so on, all in English. Yeah, let's change the language, show you how to do it. So go back to Storyline, go to player. Whilst I got your attention, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I make lots of videos on how to use Storyline, so I am a pretty useful resource. Anyway, subscribe, like, thank you very much. Right, we're in player, and then go to text labels. Okay, click on text labels. You see the language here, it says English. What you need to do is change that. So pick the language that you want. So we'll pick German. So we're now in German. So every time a little message comes up on the screen, or there's a message such as previous and next, then it will now be in German rather than English. So all you need to do, once you've changed it, is press OK. Just to let you know though, it doesn't change this, it doesn't change the menu or anything when you're actually building it. It's only actually when you preview it or when you publish it, it's going to be in that other language. So if I preview this slide now, you'll see previous and next, and menu and resources are now all in German. And that is how you change the language of all of the menus and so forth in Articulate Storyline. Anyway, hope you found this video useful. Please subscribe to the channel, like the video, thank you very much. And oh yeah, if you want to change it back, just go to Player, Text Labels, and then pick from the list the appropriate language, which in my case is English. Press OK, job done. Thank you very much. In this video, I'm going to show you how to change the look of the next and previous buttons in Articulate Storyline. So, Articulate Storyline, I'm using Articulate Storyline 360, and let's preview, I'll just preview this slide just to show you what the next button looks like. So preview this slide, and here we have down the bottom, these are the next and previous buttons. There you go. But you might want to change the look of them. So how do you do that? Well, go back to the slide and then go to Player. And then the Player menu will appear. And whilst I've got your attention, don't forget, subscribe to my YouTube channel, like the video. Thank you very much. Anyway, back to this. So the player is on here, and you've got Player Style, which is currently set at Modern, which is what I tend to use. But if you click on that, you can change it to Classic. I've got a message here from Articulate Storyline. Now, this is the first time I've actually seen this. It says, we've added over a dozen exclusive features to the modern player. Continue using the modern player, ? I'm going to say no, I don't want to use it. I'm going to ignore their feedback. You might not have that bit up here, by the way. And here we have it. This is the classic player with those previous and next buttons. Now the reason you might want to use these is because you might have a project which you're updating and they were using this exact type of player, and this is part of the corporate style. Personally, I prefer the modern one. The reason being is your previous and next, or prev and next. Now, as a language thing, and I often have to translate courses into lots of different languages, previous and next, you know, they're not translating over unless I go and change all of the actual player languages itself, which gets a little bit more complicated. So I prefer just to have the arrows. But this is how you do it. You've got previous and next. Also, from here, you can then go to colors. The color scheme is default, but you can change it to whatever you want it. So let's have a black one. There you go. I've got the black theme again, got previous and next. All looks perfect. If I'm happy with it, press OK. Let's preview this one. And there we have it, previous and next. I've changed the style. You don't have to have it black, have it however you want, but that is how you change the previous and next buttons in Articulate Storyline. In this video, we're going to look at how to change the colour of your player in Articulate Storyline 360. Well, first off, let's have a look. I'm going to preview this slide. I'll show you what the player looks like at the moment. There you go, this is the player, so it's black. This is the modern player. We've got these arrows to go back and forwards and so forth. So, it's black, dog grey, you might want to call it. That's the player. There you go. Now, I'll show you how to change the colour of that. So you can change it into whatever you want. The way to do it is go to Player at the top here. And then when you're in here, the player style, I've got it as the modern style. That's the style I prefer to use. And go to Colours and Effects. So click on Colours and Effects. You've got the option of dark, light, and you can see a preview of this. Oof, it's a bit bright. Or custom. So custom is it's a blue at the moment, but you can change all these different elements to it. But it's the background color that is the blue. So click on that. I'll pick a different color. So there we go. Go for this kind of red, but it's not coming up as red. It's coming as an orange. I definitely chose a red. Reason being, you've got to start making adjustments to this bit up here. So if you pick it a color, it's coming up as a completely different color. There is the red. Then that's why. It's because you've got to make changes to here. So if I pick this kind of darkish green, there you go, you've got to change it again, you see, to make it the colour that you wanted. So just be careful of that. You can also make changes along here to get the right colour. So yeah, and once you've got it, you've got the hex colour here, or you got the RGB or HSL. Never used HSL, RGB. Anyway, get the hex color. You can make a note of that. So if you've got a project that's always using the same particular color, you can tell your colleagues and say, look, this is the hex color that I'm using for it. And that's how you make changes to it. Once you've done it though, so you pick the color that you want. Let's say that one there looks quite nice. You click OK. And now let's preview it. And by the way, this will be happening on every single slide, not just the one slide. It'll be happening on all of them. It'll be on the entire project. There it is. There is your new background color. So that is how you change the colour of the player in Articulate Storyline. Whilst I got your attention though, please subscribe to my channel, like the videos, check out the playlist. I've got a big playlist for Articulate Storyline content. I'm also creating stuff for Camtasia and other useful tools that you use in e-learning and video creation and so forth. Anyway, happy changing colours in Articulate Storyline players.